Okay, folks. Good morning here. It's Monday morning, and today I'm working on a couple of videos, a couple of YouTube videos. And one thing I really want to talk about is our off-grid living style and how we manage it, because power is everything to us, and what it costs us every week for power and stuff like that. So on Southern Estate here, we have a solar system that we use, and I monitor it through this old tablet that I used to have, and you can see all of the Vectrons lined up right here. There's actually 5 different Vectron pieces doing something on this boat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Each one of them do something. The little charger here, oops, sorry, I want to go back here. Sorry about that. The little charger here, right here, the 115, that runs the little bitty solar panel that runs the 12-volt side of the boat. That pretty much keeps up with the battery. We can go into the system right here, and you can see that it would it'll keep up with the demand that we put on it, but it's very little that we put onto it, because all we're doing is running the LED lights basically and stuff like that. So I can go right here. Hold on, let it fetch some data and go to history. So that's basically a 220 watt panel. And see, every time you see that end of that line right there, that means it went to full charge, full charge, full charge, full charge. So that system does really well, and it'll fully charge every single day. But again, we don't ask a huge demand on it. You can see like it's very little kilowatts that it uses right there. The big one is, I'm going to show you right here, is this guy right here. Oops, I want to cancel that. Is this one right here. As you can see right now, it's put out 412 watts, 27.6 amps, a 60 amp charger. Those go to the Light Pro 4 batteries. The boat runs off of 2 Light Pro 4 batteries, and they're the Logicy 200 amp hours. And everything matters, because I can only put in so much power and I can only take out so much power. And it's why you spend a lot of money on your batteries. This is a shunt right here. The shunt will tell me the percentage of my batteries, how many amps is going in, how many amps is going out, and what's going on. Like right now, it should be at full charge right now, because I'm using the generator. We have to do this about every 2 days. We'll have to run the generator for 8 hours. And that's the little Honda generator. This is a 12 volt to 12 volt DC. So when we're running the engines, when we're running the boat itself, when the boat is the main engine's running, the starboard engine is running, we are actually charging our Light Pro 4 battery, so we don't have to run the generator ever on days that we run the main engine, because it's also contributing, and it'll keep our batteries topped off at all times. So when we pull into an anchorage like this over here at Boot Key Harbor, where we're at right now in Marathon, Florida, we're in the mooring field, but we're on anchor. But the second day we'll have to start some generator to create some power. Now with that little Honda generator, what I can do here, I'll show you, is I can run this air conditioner up front here, because this air conditioner up front here is a modern air conditioner. It draws very little amperage. So with that 2200 watt generator, I can run the front air conditioner, and I can charge my batteries. But what I cannot do is I cannot run the inverter at the off of inverter at the same time. There's just not enough. 2200 watts isn't enough, because we draw a lot of power off this refrigerator right here. This refrigerator draws a lot of power, and it takes a lot of energy to run this thing. The total wattage of the boat every single day that it needs to create is about 33.5 kilowatts. We also make our own ice, because we drink the water out of our tanks. And the reason is because A, money, and B, we can't just carry enough water. Like, we're getting ready to go over to the Bahamas for 6 weeks. We'd have to get cases and cases of water, and so it's just not worth it. So we filter the water out of our tanks. We run it through a couple different systems, and then we drink the water right out of our water tanks, which is about 200 gallons of water. But to make ice out of that same system, that takes a lot of power, because we're constantly making ice to stick in the freezer, and that takes a lot of power. So when the generator's on, we're typically making ice. So let's go over the panel right here, and let's go over everything that's happening right here, because this is a huge compartment right here, and a lot of stuff happens right here. So this is my inverter right here. I can go to, you can see this right here. This, when this is on shore right here, that means I'm getting power from this shore power cord right here. Now that could be from the generator or it could be from shore power, but right now it's on shore. So what I'd have to do if I want to turn it on is I'd hit this button right here. I turn the inverter on, so that right now I'm creating energy through the inverter, and I'm not going to switch it, but I would switch over here, and then it would go on to inverter, and then all of the AC outlets inside the boat and that refrigerator would be running off of the inverter, which is a 2200 watt inverter. This is our main generator right here. That's a 15 kilowatt diesel generator. It burns about 0.75 gallons per hour. So every hour that thing runs right there, let's say it cost us $4.50 for every hour. Why we run the Honda generator, it costs us probably around 25 cents an hour to run that Honda generator. And right now we are running on the Honda generator. You can see both of my panels are lit up. And what I have to do is I have to go to the one cord. Now when I go to switch and turn this generator on right here, I'd have to switch this over to this generator right here. And then I could run both sides of the panel right here, which this side's basically ACs, hot water and stuff like that. This side over here is just the outlets, refrigerator, the wash machine, stuff like that. When I'm on the Honda generator and I am running off all of the outlets, all I can do, I can't really run anything else. I would have to switch this over to inverter, and then I could run this forward air conditioner if I wanted to. I could run the hot water heater if I wanted to. I could run the wash machine if I wanted to. So I can only run basically two things at a time off of the Honda generator. And I can always run the Vectron right here, which puts about 20 amp hours into the Light Pro 4 battery. So when I'm running the little Honda generator, which you see here running right now, it's about, it's a 2200 watt generator. It is producing enough electricity right now, and we're hitting our Light Pro 4 batteries right now with a little over 50 amps. So it'll take about, they're almost completely drawn down from, because we've been here for 48 hours. So this one we got up there like at 20%. So we'll have to create a lot. It'll take probably 5 or 6 hours to get those batteries all the way back up. But then we won't have to run if we didn't want to, we don't have to run the Honda generator again for another 2 days if that's what we wanted to do. But at some point, it seems like about 4 hours on the Honda a day will keep our power consumption useful right there. And that's, we just put it in that box. But then today we put this extended run tank on it. I'll show it to you right here. And so the reason we did that is because now we can just put that 6 gallons of fuel in there, and that should last us, it should last us a couple of weeks is what it should last us. But we'll see. I'll let you know that. I'll give you the numbers as we go here. And you can see out here on Boot Key right here, the harbor. But I want to get up here on top here and show you these solar panels. So these two big panels, these two big outside panels right here, each one of them are about 350 watt panels. And then this little one in the middle there, that's a 220 watt panel. And these two panels are wired in series, and then down to the Light Pro 4 batteries. And then that one's just a single 220 watt panel, and it'll keeps our 12 volt system charged up. We also run Starlink on the boat, and that's for our internet. That way we can get weather. We can do pretty much anything that we want with the internet, as long as the boat is stopped. Once the boat is stopped, we can, we're pretty good to do whatever we need to do on the internet, but it gives me the ability, it doesn't matter what remote location we're in. You know, you guys saw us out at the Dry Tortugas not too long ago. We have full internet out there, able to watch, you know, our YouTube videos or upload the YouTube videos, do whatever we want using Starlink. So that's another huge advantage that we have here. But again, that costs money. It costs about $150 a month for Starlink. So before I head back downstairs here, so we just run this little yellow cord right here. This is just a cord, and it just goes down into my 30 amp, and it would go right into the boat right here, which is just, that's how we run the power for the little Honda generator. The big generator, I have to go in here and turn the switch and then it'll just go on. It'll just come on and live, but I'll have to manually use the switches right here to manage that right there. So I have to come in here. When I want to use the Honda generator, I just go to line power, and I got one line coming in. So I just flick this over to one line, and then if I'm going to start this generator right here, I would flick this over to generator, and then it would do it, because all of our generators are running, and we keep this boat fully operational at all times. Anyway, if you have any questions, you know, I'm not a super technical guy. I had to have help with some of these systems, especially linking all of the Vectrons together. I still don't think they're all exactly perfect, but they're pretty close. I can manage them now. You know, like James that you saw on my videos, you've seen him in the past here. He had to come in and get him. He'll come in and like get him fired up and make sure the settings are correct, and get them all linked together. And then I have another guy, like when I'm doing my solar projects, you know, a lot of people say, oh, you know, you can put solar on, but it's kind of tricky, because you can only bring so many watts in. Each controller will only do so much, and how much wattage you can bring in and how much wattage you need, and it's all matters on the batteries and everything that you have. And I have a guy that runs the calculations for that. It's Keith Lovett in St. George, Utah. Really good friend, a real supporter of the channel. And you know, he'll put together, like I'll call him and say, hey, what charge controller do I need, and what panels can I run on it? But I've learned over the putting a bunch of these systems together what I can get away with and what I can't. And basically, you can use 2 big panels on one of these controllers that I use. So each set of panels would need a controller. And then I can only bring so much amperage into my batteries, because they're the least expensive batteries. They're like each one of those batteries are probably about $700 a piece for those Vectron. Yeah, they're $699. I'll put the link down there, because I want you guys to use the Amazon link if anybody wants to use those batteries right there. But each one of those batteries, when I bought them, were about $699 a piece. But each battery can only take in 40 amps, and then you know, it can let go of about 40 amps at a time. So that's why I have a small inverter and a fairly small system. And you can only put so many panels on a you know, on a boat. I mean, and I think solar panels are about the ugliest thing that are created. So that's why I kind of put them up over my canopy there, and kind of hid that area up there, and maximized it, and put the biggest panels on there that I could, to you know, so that you don't see them, keep the height of the boat down, and you know, to utilize every square inch and all the space that I could, and not overdo the system but not underdo the system neither. Like the next thing, if I wanted to make a huge upgrade and I could find some 420 watt panels, I would just change out those 2 side panels, and I would love to do it, and put almost 1,000 watts into, because I wouldn't have to change anything. All I would have to do is change out the 2 panels. But we're going to run with what we got right now, and we'll be fine for the next year or so. And it is what it is. I mean, you know, I need 3.5 kilowatts. The next piece that I would add to this system right now is a wind generator. And I think that would help us at anchor when, you know, wind blows, not every day, but it blows a lot. If I had the choice between wind and solar, I'm taking solar all day long, and my wind would help it. And just like I have 2 different systems that charge my batteries at all times, my Light Pro 4 batteries, because it's either the generator and the solar, or it's the main engine and the solar. But sometimes I'm always hitting those, you know, when I have them on anchorage. Right now I can't, you know, my main engine isn't running, so I'm only hitting them with one source. I have to start the generator, start that second source. So I think with the wind generator on a nice windy day, it would help it where I wouldn't have to run it would probably cut us down another 2 hours on the generator. So instead of being 4 hours a day, it would probably be about 2 hours a day. And they're not horribly expensive, like $1,000 for the wind generator. All right, anyway, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe and share it with your friends. We do appreciate it, and thank you so much for watching. You know, I can't say thank you enough. And you know I went through it fast. It can be a complicated looking system, But in the end, it's just a matter of managing switches and doing it all through switches and stuff like that, and knowing your boat and your systems.